From drawing fan animation on his phone to directing action sequences for Chainsaw Man the movie Reze arc, Sota Shigetsugu, better known as HoneHone, is proof that raw talent and obsessive craft can launch you into the anime industry's highest rank. In just a few years, he went from flipper clip edits of Attack on Titan to working alongside giants at MAPPA, Toei, and Studio Bind. But how did this prodigy rise so fast? And what makes his animation so electrifying? Today I'll be talking about Sota Shigetsugu, aka HoneHone, and yes, I'll be talking about the action director of Chainsaw Man the movie Reze arc. I'll be talking about their past work, their story, and what his contribution going to be probably in the Chainsaw Man the movie Reze arc. So without further ado, let's go on and get straight into the video. Before he had a studio credit to his name, HoneHone was already making waves online. Under the handle HoneHone, he posted jaw-dropping fan animations of Chainsaw Man and Attack on Titan, all animated in Flipper Clip, a basic mobile app. These weren't your average edits, they were kinetic, explosive, and filled with raw expressive timing that felt far more polished than anything drawn with fingers on a smartphone screen had any right to be. It was here that his obsession with effects, webgen timing, and visceral camera movement took root. Fans quickly noticed, so did professionals. HoneHone's first professional debut, his first ever role as an animator, came in One Piece episode 960. Directed by Aya Komaki, well, some might say it wasn't the flashiest episode ever, but it was a solid first step. Soon after, he contributed to Mushoku Tensei, particularly an episode under Shingo Fuji, which marked his first ever truly noteworthy work. Even early on, his love for effects animation was pretty obvious. From smokes rail to impact bursts, his frames pop with chaotic energy. More impressively, his complex background animation revealed influences from webgen greats like Nakaya Onsen and Kenichi Kutsuna, a sign he wasn't just studying anime, but dissecting it. By 2022, HoneHone was developing his own visual language. In One Piece episode 1001, his animation took on a new way. Sharper effects, hand-drawn textures, and a fluidity that echoed artists like Katsumi Ishizuka and Yutaka Nakamura. His character animation also started showing a sense of scale and rhythm, shifting from raw motion to something more composed and cinematic. Even in a minor Chainsaw Man TV scene and later in One Piece film Red, you could feel him refining this voice, a mix of brushstroke energy and grounded forces. But nothing cemented his presence more than One Piece episode 1074, and yes, it is the Luffy grabbing lightning. HoneHone wasn't just animating anymore, he literally storyboarded and action directed the entire sequence, and yes, this is also his debut as a storyboarder in the anime industry. The scene is a masterclass in atmosphere, minimal cuts but sprawling backgrounds, and composition choices that evoke vertical scale and divine intensity. These weren't just technical flexes, they were direct nods to Katsumi Ishizuka's philosophy of letting moments breathe. Paired with Shu Sugita, HoneHone still carved his own lane, shaping chaos into elegance with effects and lighting design that made the scene unforgettable. Then came Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2. Under the director Shota Goshozono, HoneHone found his most creative playground yet. He contributed to 5 episodes and the opening itself, but it was episode 17 under Hakugo but he was given full creative freedom for his sequence. His Genga work in the Blu-ray version is a showstopper. Expressive timing, heavy effects, and the camera work that feels theatrical. That particular sequence from HoneHone is literally a mind-blowing. And not to forget, the iconic Todo cut, while not his concept, was visualized, designed, and drawn entirely through HoneHone's lens. The layout, composition, and final Genga were actually his and Kosuke Kato. It was raw, bold, and filled with a sense of purpose. In just 2 years, this young animator was now being handed entire action set pieces to shape on his own. And now in 2025, HoneHone has come full circle, from animating fan animations of Chainsaw Man on a phone to being named the action director for Chainsaw Man the movie movie Reze arc. He's no longer just a contributor, he's leading the very thing that inspired him to animate. Given his past experience blending effects heavy chaos with grounded scale, we can expect the Reze movie to lean heavily on HoneHone's strength, messy but beautiful destruction with human weight behind every frame. With Mappa giving him the keys to the action, this might actually be his true magnum opus. So again, with HoneHone confirmed as the action director for the Chainsaw Man movie Reze arc, fans are already speculating and hoping for a very different tone from the TV adaptation. Again, given his background, we can expect a return to heavier and grittier action, less CG cleanup and more hand-drawn effects and background destroying choreography. The Reze arc's urban warfare and emotional tension are a perfect match for his sensibilities, and expect long shots, unconventional angles, and action that flows with momentum, just like what we saw in the trailer itself. Because oh well, guess what? The action director is HoneHone. Based on his past work in One Piece 1074 and also Jujutsu Kaisen episode 17, he's also likely to prioritize the scale, force, and also the tactile chaos, with characters feeling like they are being swallowed by the environment itself. And if Mappa really gives him full creative control, well, obviously he is the action director, but there are still some people that are above him. The Reze fight scenes could become some of the most talked about Sakuga cuts of the decade, not just for their polish but for their unique voice. It will finally feel like the anime finally understand how Chainsaw Man should have looked like, quote unquote, and how the anime finally understands Chainsaw Man's violent poetry. And for the Sakuga nerds out there, it will be a playground. From Flipper Clip to Mappa, HoneHone is a proof that passion and self-study can shape not just career, but an industry. Overall, I do think this is a really good chance, really big chance for HoneHone to express his vision as a fan of this particular show as well, and as the action director for this film as well. I am very much anticipating what his work going to be in the actual movie itself, because man, we have seen how much of a big fan he is of this particular series ever since he first started making the Flipper Clip animation of Chainsaw Man animation. I've been wanting to see more of his work in Chainsaw Man. Obviously there are only some, like just a few cuts by him, but now that he has taken up the role as the action director himself, I am just so much anticipating to see what he'll be contributing in the actual film itself, because I am very much positive that his vision as a fan and his vision as the action director is going to be aligned because of how much he loved this particular show. So I am just very much excited to see what he'll be bringing to the table for this film, and again debuting as the action director for the first time in the anime industry. And that's basically it for today's video. Here it is, a video essay on Sota Shigetsugu aka HoneHone, the action director for Chainsaw Man the movie Reze arc. Those are basically it. Thank you very much, and I will see you guys in the next Chainsaw Man video. Goodbye!